I just want to invest in people that really want to be the best that they can be. Professional realtors, it's Todd Scrima, CEO of Summits Funding. We got Robyn LaVassaur, that oversees all of sales for Summit Funding. We got Jim Reed, our SVP, that runs a big, huge branch and runs our entire coaching company, which is a huge part of our company. And we want to do some podcasts to help our realtor friends because, frankly, you're how we get our business, and we thank you for it. So all of us have been professional coaches for anywhere from 12 to 25 years. So we've got a lot of knowledge, and we want to share it. So today we're doing a short podcast on the disciplines of being an entrepreneur. This can go a lot of different directions. To me, this is kind of like a brainstorm. So what I thought we would do is just go person by person, like around the clock, and just say one thing and quickly explain it on what you have found. By the way, I want to brag for a second. Just so you know, I always wonder when I listen to podcasts, do these people know what the hell they're doing? That's what I think. So you're talking to three multi-million, making millions of, not a million, millions of dollars a year. I can say that because I'm bragging on my people. They didn't always do that. Jimmie and I worked together at a grocery store. Robyn short sale the house years ago. So we've been super poor and we've been super rich, and we're here to share that knowledge in a humble way. Okay. So Jim, one tip for the entrepreneur mindset.
Well, so one tip to start off, I've got a bunch in my head, but I was sitting here thinking while you were talking, I knew you were going to ask me for one. So I'm trying to think, what's the most important thing? And I relate it, I grew up wanting to be in sports, and I really loved playing basketball. I wanted to play basketball all the time, and quite frankly, I stunk at it when I was young and didn't get off the bench. But I played. I was good at another sport that just came naturally to me, so I ran track. But I love basketball, and I don't think that I think endeavors are very similar. You want to be a good entrepreneur, same thing as being a good athlete, same thing as being a good student, same thing as being a good dad, same thing as being a good husband. I think that they're similar components, right? So I was thinking back while you were talking, what changed for me in basketball? And the answer is a guy named Kevin. And I was a freshman in high school, and the two basketball coaches that we had for varsity and JV were brothers, Tracy and Kevin. Kevin was younger, and I just clicked with him, Todd. He was a very clear, firm, and direct person. He had a lot of knowledge when it came to basketball. He played Division I basketball, and he took an interest in me for whatever reason, more so than some of the other guys on the team who were better than me. And I pursued his coaching. I asked him for more criticism. I asked him for more, to push me more. And I begged him for a chance to play in the game for a year and a half before he finally did. But so if you say, hey, what's one thing that entrepreneurs have in common is they realize they cannot do it alone, and they seek mentorship and coaching. Like, they get it. They don't believe in my way or the highway, and I'm going to do it all by myself, and you got to be an original. That's not how they think. They think, I got to find somebody to help me get better fast. So that's, I think, the number one deal. Okay,
you stole my number one. That's my number one. That's like, we don't, just so y'all know, we don't rehearse this stuff. We just get on here and start talking. That's my number one. Here's how I say it. A coach or mentor that gives you regular time will 10x you. What I mean is they'll get you to where you would be 10 years faster. And listen, Robyn and Jim were part of a coaching company, nationwide coaching company that I owned for 20 years. And we have coached, I don't know how many people, it's literally thousands of entrepreneurs, literally thousands. Mm-hmm. So I've seen it. We've seen it. We start coaching someone, they've been in their business 15 years, and we double their income in 2 years, like very consistently. That's because you got an outside coach. So that's number one to me, number one. Robyn, what's one for you?
Well, it's that lovely word of accountability, right? I think we all need it, and yet people show up as an entrepreneur and they think, When you're an employee, someone gives you the work. When you're an entrepreneur, you create the work. And I think that a lot of people, and I find this, and this is not at all disrespectful in real estate, but I think a lot of people get into real estate with the mindset of freedom, finances, and flexibility. And what they end up getting is 2 of those 3 F's. And the financial part doesn't often come along with it. And the reason is they lack that, right? That accountability, because we are, if you really think about it, Jim, everything you just said, being a great player, as an athlete, a father, the common denominator is you, right? You choosing all of that. And so I think that there's this wonderful thing in entrepreneurship that says, hey, I'm in charge of me. But man, if there's one person in my life that'll get me in the most trouble, it's also me, right? Like it's me. And so I think that, when I talk to real estate agents and those things, it's what I see, loan officers, salespeople in general, is that we just get lucky enough, right? We're maybe social enough that the phone rings, or we get to take care of a few things, but we don't develop a plan to really achieve the greatness that we really want to achieve, right? We go into it thinking, hey, I want to help 15 families this year, or maybe you want to help 30, but there's not that plan there in terms of, hey, what would that take to do that? We got to create the work. And in order to create the work, you have to believe in the product, I guess, is one of the things that I would say. And so what I tell everybody is, anybody that's working for me in the loan world or is a real estate partner of mine, if they're looking to just sell a house or just make a commission, they're in trouble. Because if you don't believe that you are the best stinking realtor in your county, the best person to represent both a buyer and a seller, the person that's got, just a great outcome overall, cares about their clients, really believe in themselves. I listened to a podcast where a guy said, I believe that everybody's life will be better if they read my book. So everybody that I talk to all the time, I'm like, have you read my book? Have you read my book? Have you read my book? He goes, I believe in it that much that it'll change their life if I could just get them to read it. Wow. I don't know why more entrepreneurs don't feel that way about the service they're providing. Like, if you didn't get into it with a purpose and a passion, why are you into it to begin with? And I really believe in my heart of hearts, I'm an incredible loan rep, right? I'm a great loan rep. Jimmie, you're a great loan rep. I bet you believe that. If somebody gets to do a loan with you, they're lucky. If a realtor gets to work with you, they're lucky. Is that fair?
Yeah, I think I didn't even think about that, and I haven't heard it put that way before. But I was thinking about some funding. We've got some young entrepreneurs. We call them mortgage loan apprentices, and in the real estate community, they've got them all over the place. They get their license and they go into a broker and they're like, "What do I do there?"
Instant.
Yeah, and I'm thinking about the loan officers that are in my life right now, and 3 of them pop into my head, and I know what I need to work on with them now, because I don't believe that they think they're the best place to get a mortgage. And until they start thinking that, they are in trouble.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's a massive ingredient. I think that's awesome.
And that doesn't require perfection, right? I think some people think, well, I'm new, so that must mean I have to be perfect. Well, how do you think a surgeon gets started? They get started, right? I mean, at some point,
you just got to care a lot, Robyn. That's all. You got to care a lot, and then you'll take care of other people.
It's a great way to put it. You just have to care a whole bunch and do the right thing, right? And if you don't know the answer, go find out the answer and work really hard for your people to get the outcome that they want, or tell them the truth about the outcome that they're going to get.
Mm-hmm. Ed Milet references this a lot, and some I believe strongly in. What you're saying, part of what you're saying is you got to have this bravado and belief system and also be humble at the same time.
Yes.
You can't be some crazy narcissist thinking you're the best thing ever, because that comes across weird. But you also got to be humble enough to take on a coach and say, hey, boss me around a little bit. So I just wanted to tie those 2 things together.
It's the difference between entitlement and gratitude, though, right? So the humility comes from gratitude, being grateful for the business you get versus feeling entitled to get it. 100%. Very big difference.
I'm going to take a different stance. Mine is track your numbers. So I'll give you an example. I can't tell you how many thousands of people I've gotten on the phone. This happened yesterday. I meet with a business that wants to sell, and I said, I'm asking all these numbers. I said, how many prospects a month, come in? How many of them do a visit? How many of them sign up? And they're like, they basically have no idea. This is a 67-year-old business. I said, that's why you're failing. I said, if you knew that it took 20 phone calls to get a meeting and 50% of your meetings led to a contract, then your business becomes a math equation. And real quick story, years ago, young loan officer, 1 year, it's 8 months in, something like that. I have a month where I closed one loan. Now I've been doing 3, 4, 5, closed one loan. I'm working 70 hours a week, so I'm looking like 280 hours or something. And I had one result, and I said, this sucks, and you suck, right? I'm like 25 years old. So I go to the best salesperson I know, the best. And I said, hey, I need your help. And he says, okay, what do you need? I said, well, you're the best salesperson I know. I said, I closed one loan last month and I suck. And he says, yeah, you suck. I said, what do I do? He says, well, how many phone calls does it take for you to get a lead, and how many leads do you need to close a loan? And I looked at him and I said, I have no clue. He says, well, start with this. Make 20 phone calls every day of your life. Same time every day. It takes 2 hours. Every day of your life, prospecting calls. Come and see me in a month. Track how many meetings it led to and how many leads it led to. And then we'll have an equation. We'll have a starting equation that, over several months, it'll become even better. But start with that. And I'm not just talking about your lead conversion and leads and all that. I'm talking about how much money you save. I'm talking about what your expense ratios are. I mean, there's a lot of numbers that people just have no clue. I talk to them all the time. I have no clue. You gotta run. Half of your business is math, right? You have to know the math. So that's mine. Is if you're gonna run a business, you got to know that. Jimmie,
well, this makes me think of something, Todd, real quick. That I know this is a weird analogy, but imagine if you were a singer, you recorded a bunch of demos, but you never sent them out, and you hope that somebody would figure out that you were a good singer, right? Somehow you'd be discovered. But instead, the math equation is, hey, I recorded and then I sent out a bunch of demos to a bunch of companies, right? And maybe I got 2 phone calls, but I sent out 20 demos. That's the math equation. I think sometimes when I'm talking with real estate agents, and maybe Jimmie has a different experience, I think sometimes they believe our business is different, so they disregard some of the things that we say. And the truth is, my point with the music and those things is that it's interchangeable. You have to track the activity that got you the business so that you understand how to replicate that activity to get more business, right? They think it's by accident.
Well, you're talking about super basics that are transferable between industries.
Yes.
Right. So for me, there's 3. Okay. So number 1 is, like, if you're an entrepreneur, you guys ever listen to The Strangest Secret by Earl Nightingale? Oh, you haven't?
I think I have.
Please, please, please do. If you listen to this and you're a salesperson, listen to it. It will help you with
Say it again, Jimmie.
The Strangest Secret by Earl Nightingale.
I've listened to it. Yes.
It will help you with feeling grateful for being lucky enough to be in our industry, because we are lucky. So for me, there's 3 things that are interchangeable. Number 1, sales skills. Within sales skills is tracking numbers and the things you mentioned, but there's sales ability, sales skills, understanding a sales process, understanding that sales is not give them whatever they want and hope they buy. That's not what sales is. So you got to have sales ability, sales skills. You got to have technical skills for your industry. If you're a realtor, you got to know contracts. You got to know data. You got to know inventory. You got to know price per square footage. You got to know adjustments. You got to know neighborhoods. You got to know school districts. You got to have some technical knowledge. You got to have some sales ability. And then you have to have financial skills. I have heard this many times, and many times from you, Todd. The number 1 cause for failure in small business, cash flow. Cash flow. So if you want to say, hey, wow, there's so many things to bite off, I don't know where to start. Those are the 3 basics I see transferable in any industry. Sales skills, technical skills for your industry, financial skills for your focus forward and your ability to keep going. Our business can be described as 2 years of misery followed by a lifetime of frustration. However, it does pay well if you're good at it.
It pays very well. Listen, guys, Jimmie, that is a great and 100% everything you just said. This is meant to give you some ideas, and what we hope is that it adds a little bit of value to your lives. And so you think next time you're thinking, I wonder, should I use Summit or should I use some other company? Choose Summit.
Yeah.
Like, we're really good. We're top. Our salespeople are top 1% in the country. We hire the best. We train them super well. So we're honored that you've used us before. We hope that you use this for every single transaction, not to be greedy. Okay. Thanks for listening, guys. Send this to a realtor friend that may enjoy it. We would appreciate it. Have a great day, guys. Thank you.